This is a quick video on using sales letters for commercial prospects. Now, this could be for commercial cleaning. It can be for carpet cleaning, tile cleaning, any of the specialty services, but it is more geared towards the commercial side of things. Uh, my overall opinion about sales letters is I love them for follow-up. And the main thing is I want to make sure I know who the decision maker is and I have the correct spelling of their name, and they are definitely the person in charge of whatever product I'm selling. If I know that for a fact or a high certainty, then I am okay with sales letters. I don't really love it for any kind of a cold marketing campaign, unless for sure I know that name is accurate. Then I'm okay with it. Personally speaking, we might send maybe one, maybe two out a year to stay in contact with people. Nowadays with email, people receive 50, 100 emails a day, but they usually don't receive too many personal letters. So I think you can get through. Now, whether you include that sales letter with a brochure or some kind of a sell sheet flyer, it's personal choice. I go back and forth with it. I can't say one produces better than the other. I would just mix it up. So the first part is the envelope. And for me personally, we just use a simple envelope. We usually don't mass mail these. So in our case, we just handwrite the person's name and the information and just put a forever stamp on there. And I think if you handwrite that name specifically to somebody, the chances of them opening and reading, I think, are pretty high. Now, I've read about people who use gold envelopes, green envelopes, blue envelopes, because they stand out more, and I love that idea. And if you want to try that out, I'd be all for it. At the end of the day, if the person's name is on there and it's the right person, they're going to open it. I think using the colored envelopes is probably better for people that are using it for cold marketing purposes, just to stand out. I don't think it's really necessary if you know the person who's in charge, but that's just my personal opinion. I would test it and see if you get more feedback from one versus the other. This is just my personal view. So now I'm going to go to an actual letter example. And at the top, we just started with a headline. Don't let the condition of your carpets cost you. Of course, the person's contact name, and try to make it as casual, like a conversation, as best as we can. We started off with a brief introduction. Now, this is a point that is going to change, and I don't believe in. I believe in marketing and being specific, and the prospect that I had in mind for this specific letter, these were some of the, the hot topics that I was trying to point out: excessive wear, recurring coffee stains, odors, maybe in certain areas. Those are the things that I physically seen in buildings over the years for this specific prospect. So that's why I pointed that out. Now, if you are targeting restaurants, you might point out something completely different. And that's my viewpoint of marketing in general, is you should be specific, and I think you can be practical too. That think about things you see and questions that you are asked over and over again, and then you can put them in an introduction. In this next paragraph, we just went into, we're trying to plant the seed of setting up a regular rotation. That's the point of this paragraph, is that we want them to know that they can set up a regular routine, twice a year, 4 times a year. Monthly would be great, obviously. And that it's really a lot less, preventive maintenance is a lot less money. And that's the whole goal of this paragraph, is to point out it's really not that much money when you break it up and you keep on top of something versus waiting until the carpet's completely destroyed and then you have to do a full restoration on it. Next, I just introduce myself, the name of the company, what we do, provide ongoing support after every service so they can count on us if they have any questions afterwards on how they can keep up on it. In most cases, a commercial building is not going to call you for every little spill they have. They happen all the time. So if there's any support you can provide to them, either with free spotters, towels, even just being available. A blog would be great too, but even just being available and letting them know that when something does happen in between services, feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email. We can walk you through it. We can give you some ideas on how you can get on that stain or spill as soon as possible until our next service. The next paragraph, we just listed some of the services. Obviously, this is going to change from company to company. Not everyone provides all these services. And again, I'm trying to plant the seed here of ongoing programs and not just a one-time deal. That's something that is how commercial works, is you want to set up the ongoing routines year after year after year. So that's again why we try to plant that seed again right here. Ongoing programs. Now this is a section that you can change over and over and create a rotation, and especially if you decide that you're going to send, say, 3 of them out in a year, you can change this. We took a technical angle this specific time for this specific technical point, but it's really endless the different ways you can approach it. You could go super technical and say talk about nylon and the pros and cons to nylon and why certain stains are hard to take out in nylon and what the benefits are. You also could go a value route and maybe talk about how you have emergency services and you can come out there 24/7. You're available. That would be a value kind of paragraph. And also dropping a name. If it's, let's say you're marketing to dentists, if you can mention a couple dentists that you've done business done business with in the past or that are well known, that would be great. If you belong to an association maybe of other dentists, you could take that direction. There's not really one way to approach this, but this is a point in the letter where you can either talk about technical, you can talk about something value-based, service-based, or you can talk about or drop reviews, testimonials. That would be another thing you could do here. It's really endless. I don't think one's better than the other. I think you just flip them and you rotate them until you find that hot button. And then here in closing, again, we are trying to let them know that this isn't really, in the big scheme of things, a lot of money, and that they can set up a rotation, and it's gonna cost them a lot more money if they wait until the carpet's completely destroyed. Or even if it was a floor, for instance, you want to kind of give them that same message, and or I want to, anyways. I want to plant that seed that this isn't a lot of money. That if you keep up on stuff, that it's a lot less than waiting until your floor is completely shot, and then we have to strip it down, put 5 or 6 coats of wax on it, and start all over again. If it's a lot cheaper if we come out and just do a quick scrub and apply 1 or 2 coats. So that's kind of the mentality that we're trying to put in here. At the end here, of course, your name, some kind of a closing, your company, contact info. You could put your general website. You also could create a landing page. So if this was something specific, you could create a landing page, for example, testimonials. If you're creative, maybe you can create some kind of a box, like a call to action, and check out our reviews and have a landing page going to those reviews. That would be, or testimonials. That would be very effective. That'd be a great thing. In this case, we just put our general website. I probably would put the commercial page specifically, but in this case, I just didn't. So this is just an example of using a sales letter. I would, overall, I think you should create several of them, maybe 3 or 4, and you just kind of rotate them. So I think it's best to walk into this with a plan in your head that you're going to send these out twice a year, 3 times, monthly, whatever it is, and then just go on your Google Calendar and create a rotation that you're going to do. This time's going to be technical. The second one's going to be testimonial. The third one's going to be something industry specific, maybe. It's really endless what you can do. And at the end of the day, none of us knows what's going to motivate somebody else. So that's the point of creating several of them. And you're just trying to find that, you're trying to find that hot button on that person.